So anyone lately or just in the past few years, especially after the pandemic, feel like no matter how hard you try, no matter how much work you put in, it's just not enough. No matter what bar that they set, as far as when you get to that bar, they're gonna raise it up again. It's a rat race that has a never-ending story, and I believe that it's running people crazy, is running people to have mental health issues, and people are not talking about it enough. And this is why we're going to break down this hustle culture and how it's toxic in these toxic workplaces. And we need to do better and figure out ways that we can just be better people in these environments and know that we have the power as well too. So y'all sit back with me as we break this down and just me to just talk about just this toxic work environment and this hustle culture that people try to push to people. So y'all just stay tuned. This is from Just Say Anything. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. See y'all soon.
You're not just saying that?
I never just say anything.
So, welcome to the daily grind. Your dreams come to die. You have Gen Z workers literally quitting on the first day. People crying in their cars. People taking their work home. It's beginning to become ridiculous with this toxic environment and just not being able to work and survive. People have
Toxic work environment. A toxic work environment can be extremely draining and can negatively impact mental health, motivation, and productivity. Toxicity may take the form of bullying, favoritism, gossip, or unprofessional behavior that creates a hostile workplace. Organizational psychologist Adam Grant notes, "Bad culture is like a virus. It spreads fast and it's hard to cure. Recognizing toxicity and taking proactive steps to protect your well-being is essential. Understanding the impact of a toxic environment, a toxic workplace, can affect both personal and professional life. Constant negativity or stress can make it challenging to perform well, connect with colleagues, or find job satisfaction. Addressing toxicity requires a mix of personal boundaries, self-care, and if possible, efforts to foster a positive atmosphere, exercises to mitigate toxicity."
People have 2, 3 jobs. It's still not enough. Where does it end at this point? And we really don't know. It just seems like every time there's a new bar and there's more inflation, there's more things that not working out in the favor of the average person. They're literally trying to run us insane at this point, and that's the way it feels to me. Everyone at this point just feel overworked. No matter what you do, they're just gonna keep going until you keep going. And if you hate this job, then you get 2 jobs. If you don't like 2 jobs, you get 3 jobs. You can't survive if you're not hustling hard enough. And it's very unrealistic on how they set in the bar for a lot of people. Corporate America says that you get a livable wage, you get a nice house, you have mental health, you have a work-life balance, you get a woman, your wife, and you get the picket fence and everything will work out. You get the American dream. And these things are the reason why people feel like if they don't even achieve these things, that their mental health's going to be down. They're going to feel like they're worthless. They're going to feel like, what is life? Because I'm not achieving the things that they tell me that I need to do.
You think you have to do something every second of the day? And if you're not, you feel guilty, you feel lazy, you feel like you're falling behind. That's not ambition. That's conditioning. You were raised in a system that worships productivity and shames rest. A system that taught you your worth is measured by how much you achieve, produce, or check off the list. So now, when you finally stop, when you finally slow down, your nervous system panics because it's been trained to believe stillness equals failure. But the truth is, doing nothing is not nothing. Silence heals. Stillness restores. Rest is sacred. You don't need another podcast. You don't need to multitask your walk. You don't need to be doing all these different things. You just need to be fully present, alive, in this moment. Without a goal, without a reason, just here. Because your soul doesn't thrive in noise, it awakens in stillness. And when you stop trying to prove your worth by doing, you finally remember your worth by being. That's the moment you're free. That's the moment you wake up.
And the way that people put their lives and their expectations, we're going to have terrible mental health because everybody wants so much and they make it hard to get simple things in life. So honestly, at these jobs, they're basically telling you to pick one. Do you want a work life or do you want to be happy? Either or. You can't do both. You can't have a job where it's paying the way you want to and then have great mental health. And it's not too many people that's getting that these days. And these companies are taking advantage of these things as well too. That's why turnover rates are just shit at this point. It's really nothing.
I am a firm believer that hustling is a form of psychological slavery. In no way, shape, or form should we ever be sacrificing our emotional, mental, spiritual, physical well-being for anything that we are ascertaining or wanting to achieve. I spoke in another video about how when you hustle to this degree in which you are sacrificing your well-being, it is bringing you much closer to your detriment than to whatever it is that you are wanting to ascertain. I say all this to say, slow down and really ask yourself what it is that you want and what it is that you're conquering or trying to conquer, and if it is worth the sacrifice of your well-being. You get one soul in this life, one body, and it is our due diligence to feed it and nurture it well without the sacrifice of our soul, our safety, and our well-being.
So, I mean, today we just diving into that. We just trying to figure out just what this hustle culture is and how it's just a detriment to society at this point. There's even a study on CNBC where they're saying that 3/4 of Gen Z is looking to switch jobs, which is very alarming. And it's for this very reason. It's because they're in a toxic work environment. They're demanding way more things than even the millennials and the previous generations, where they're like, hey, we're not going for that. We don't want to be here. If y'all not treating us right, we don't want to be here. And I believe that, hey, somebody got to stand up to these people, because the way that they're treating the people is they're robots. They're literally not real people. They treat them like they don't deserve respect, or they don't deserve time, or they don't deserve break. If that don't work, you should be working 20 hours a day. Why should you even sleep in the first place? What is sleep? You should never spend time with your family, have fun, do things that you enjoy inside life. You shouldn't do any of those things. It's always grind, work until you die. And that's the message that they send out there. And at the end of your life, you'll look back and none of those things matter, because they're going to replace you at whatever job, no matter who you are. You could be a president, a king, whatever it is. Sooner after that, they're going to replace you. Time moves on. We all have, I guess, the allotted time in life, and we need to act like it as well too. So we can't just give our all to these companies.
Lazy, entitled quitters. Gen Z have been labeled the hardest generation to work with. But are the people born between the 90s and 2010 really that difficult? Or do they have a thing or two to teach the world about work-life balance? I'm Annalise Borges, and this is The Stream.
In case you missed it, the generation that has popularized terms such as bare minimum Mondays, quiet quitting, and the latest lazy girl job is being required to go back to the office. I mean, we all are.
I love being a woman.
And it made me realize I don't care anymore what anybody gotta say. I'ma do me.
40 hours? That's 8 hours a day. That's half the day if you factor in sleeping. When would I have time for myself?
It's not that the new generation is more difficult to work with. It's that the older generation is more difficult to work for.
And like I say, I'm not saying that we should not work and work towards our goals and our dreams, but there has to be a balance. And people in the workforce today are getting called lazy from previous generations to say that they don't want to work. And that's not the truth. It's just the 9-to-5 system is broken. You shouldn't have to have 3 jobs just to have an apartment with 5 other people and you barely making it, and you have to drive Uber on the side and sell hair and breed dogs and all this other thing just to survive. It's like, nah, these previous generations necessarily wasn't going through that. They had one job, it can survive for a whole family. They take one trip in a year and things were fine. But now I get it. Right now people do want a lot of different things and they like to have excess, but those same luxuries are cheaper now than some of the things from the past. A TV back then was very expensive, but a TV now is not as expensive in the grand scheme of things when you talk about like the ratio of, money and things like that. So those things, when people try to bring that up to say, oh, y'all want so many luxuries, it's not really that. People just want a house, a car, maybe to go get some food every now and again, not worry too much about just small things about going to the doctor or getting dental insurance and stuff like that. It's like they're making the handicap a lot harder for a lot of people. And I really think it's by design, but that's a whole nother video. These online gurus, like I said before, like Andrew Tate and the countless other ones, feel like if you ain't making 7 figures by 21, you're a loser. Your life is over. You're trash. You're not gonna get any women. Life is over for you. They put the expectations so high to the point it's not even realistic. We don't know. Everyone's journey is different. You know, it's like you can work towards something and get money when you're 40 or 50 or whatever, but you shouldn't even put your worth to those things, those worldly things. I think that we have to change that.
So in the Black community, hustle has kind of become like a religious body, right? They told us work would save us, not God, not community, not rest, just work, right? If you grind hard enough, you'll get out. If you stay busy enough, you'll matter. If you never stop moving, you'll outrun the fear that you're nothing without productivity. So we built religion as hustle, a religion of hustle. Right, we tithe our time to our jobs that don't love us. We offer our bodies to sleep deprivation, and we memorize the gospel of deadlines, side hustles, and career pivots. Capitalism became the altar, burnout became the prayer, exhaustion became the proof that we're worthy.
At this point, capitalism is very exhausting. It's very exhausting, where it's something that you can't ever win. And like I say, just get out the game. That's the way I look at it. There is no way to win. You have to figure out something to get out the matrix or something, but it will run you dry if you try to stay inside of it, to be honest with you. At this point, it's not even hustle culture. It's just burnout culture. Just burn out until you have no more. And then when you burn out, we're going to replace you with someone else, and the cycle continues. We're going to burn that person out as well, too. The work environment is just toxic. I hate it. All the work environments that I was in, because they were just always just so toxic. I felt like I couldn't even breathe in a lot of those situations. It was just very uncomfortable, to be honest with you. And even now, you have the rise of bare minimum Mondays, quiet quitting. I mean, people are rebelling in their own ways, their own different ways. People are rebelling towards that. It's only eventually people are just going to start quitting and start doing things and say, fuck it, y'all find somebody else to do it. And I know some people say, y'all just lazy, y'all don't want to work. It's why y'all doing all these things, y'all just slacking. And I don't think it's slacking. It's just not letting work consume your soul in your life. And you actually saying, I am a human, regardless of whatever. Before this position was put on earth, the humans exist before whatever this is. And yes, we need to have these jobs and these things to survive as just humans in general. But the way that they're putting it out there now is making us inhumane in the same process. Whenever we're human, we get tired. And I understand they mean like mental, you gotta have mental toughness and be strong during these times. And, you know, just a figure of speech, I guess you want to call it. But some people was actually taking it literal, like, nah, I can't take naps. If you taking a nap, you weak. And all these other things. I don't know, you know, it's like, I can't say that it's, you know, you want to grind and you want to do those things, but like I say, your mental health just start going off, and you start going off the deep end. A lot of these stories that people talk about with these people making millions, and they're like, I sleep only 2 hours a day, and I wake back up, and I'm up 22 hours, and I go to sleep 2 more hours, and all these other things. I don't think that's healthy. That's just my opinion on that, to be honest with you, but I don't know. And
then you just don't want it enough. It's as simple as that.
I used to be like this guy. I'm not anymore, because it totally was not worth it. Let me tell you why. First of all, the obvious, my mental health deteriorated. What's funny is my mental health was deteriorating because I was pushing myself beyond, pushing myself to my limit to make money. And then I had to use that money to hire therapists and get medication and get all this stuff, so my mental health will be okay enough to push again to make more money. It was just this like really dumb cycle. There are certain things money cannot buy. Yeah, money can buy you the therapy and stuff, but what's priceless is to simply have your peace of mind and sanity. Like, that is priceless. Okay, then my actual health was affected. I got diagnosed with an autoimmune issue. Those are the kind of disorders and diseases that literally you could have gone your whole entire life without it, but Stress triggers, like, sends a message to your genes and triggers the disease, and now all of a sudden you have a diagnosis. And yeah, the money was great to help me afford the doctors and diagnostics and medications and treatments. But what is even better that money can't buy is like simply not having the autoimmune issue, like, at all.
And with this hustle culture, we're actually setting kids up for failure, because if we plan the odds, everybody's not going to be a millionaire, everyone's not going to be a billionaire, everyone's not going to be making hundreds of thousands. That's just not how the law of averages work when it comes to that. So there's other people that feel like, oh, if I don't have these things, then my whole entire life is a failure if I don't. And that's not very practical. That's why I even feel like the dating scene is very stupid now, because a lot of people is like, hey, I want this billionaire, I want this millionaire, I want all these things inside of life. But it's like, not telling you to set your bar lower, because everyone should dream and dream big. But if you don't achieve those things, that don't mean that your life is a failure or you're nothing to society. And especially for men right now, they probably really feel the pressure, because it's like, hey, you're nothing if you're not making money. We just have this consumerism thing due to capitalism, where we just keep wanting to consume things, and this is how we're in this predicament as well too. And I say it's not blaming us, because it is the corporate people as well too, but they're just playing on our consumerism as well. They even have quotes like rise and grind, and you know, things like that was supposed to sound, I guess, inspiring at the time. But really, I mean, it just turned into something that people just talk down on you on. And these other influencers online, they're just yelling at you. They just, you tell that you ain't nothing if you ain't selling this, and you need to be doing this. And,
hustle culture is bad, when it's not. You're just not willing to embrace it due to the mindset of the surroundings you are currently in. Today's society is so goddamn fucking soft that as soon as anything goes against the norm, they attack it. They try to dissect it. They bitch people out around it. If you want to be fucking successful in anything that you do, whether it's to do with your fitness goals, your relationship goals, or your business goals, you need to hustle in order to obtain it.
You know, they're just literally making you feel like you ain't shit, type of thing. So it's like, yeah, people are gonna go crazy. We're told to work hard and work harder, and then if that don't happen, you work harder on top of that, and if that don't happen, you work harder on top of that, to the point where you just lose yourself in the whole hamster wheel. At this point, everyone should even know that hustle culture does not care about anyone. It doesn't care about your mental health, doesn't care about your family, or your dog's birthday party, your kid's birthday party. It cares nothing about you. It's something that just to consume and take people's energy until they can't take it anymore, and they can keep you distracted on certain things, so you won't look at what really matters inside of life, and that's connection to people as well too. Because if you're in that hustle culture, it kind of keeps you in a bubble where you can't reach out to other people. You're not gonna explore different things or think different. It's basically to just suppress your mind as well too. A lot of people even now are just trying to figure out how can they even tap out of the system to get a remote job, get something that's outside of in a different area, just to get out the whole rat race in general. Because like I said before, it's just consuming people, and if you allow it to, it'll kill you. There's people younger than ever now having high blood pressure and things that we didn't think about high blood pressure until you was 50 or something. Or you worrying about heart stuff and this, and it's like, cause people are literally stressed out. Every time I watch the Pop the Balloon show, when I watch it with my wife, we always laugh about all the people on there have to have 10 jobs. Every single person, like, yeah, I do hair, I breed dogs, you got a barbershop, I film things, I'm a YouTuber on the side. You gotta have 100 things in order just to survive. And people look at it like, man, y'all just over there lying about all these jobs. It's like, no, I believe them. They have to have some income coming from a lot of different places, because it's like, where are we at this point? So that's why I even feel now a lot of people even having nostalgia so much, and they can't live in the present because they feel like the present is trash, because they taking so much out of you, and you've been promised stuff since you was a kid. They say if you go to college, you do everything right, you live by the law, you do all these things the American dream is supposed to have, and you're supposed to have all these things, but it's just not set up that way. You can do everything by the book and more, and it's still not enough. They're still gonna ask more from you, so people just feel like, fuck it, what am I supposed to do? You know, it's gonna get to a point where a lot of people are just gonna be burnt out, and I don't want that for people, and I don't know the answer as well too. That's why I'm making this video, is just to basically just start the conversation and just be realistic about what's going on at this point. I believe the future of work looks kind of weird. I don't know the answer. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Move to a remote location, move somewhere else, move out the country, find somewhere that's cheaper, become a digital nomad and start a drop shipping business? I really don't know. I don't. But the truth is, Gen Z and millennials are not lazy. They're just the first generation bold enough to say, hey, that's some bullshit. We ain't fucking with this type of thing. We deserve better, and we need to change whatever this is. I don't know what the change is going to be and how we're going to get that change, but hey, if we take this and we change the system, we could be the first generation that actually get things and know our worth. Because there's no reason why people should be having 3 jobs and still not making a great living, or a living that makes sense for them, and be able to have time to spend with their family and have fun and do all the things that people want to do in their life, and have fulfillment as well too. So in the end, this video is not about just Gen Z and millennials being lazy and quitting their jobs or anything. It's basically just about a broken system, a system that's meant to just exploit, take everything from you, chew you up and spit you out, and go to the next person. It's about the disrespect and the outdated ideas of what success is. There may be a revolution. It might be happening now. We might be in the middle of something that can change. In the future, we can be in a better situation. I don't know these things. I don't know these answers. I just say anything. And remember, that's the name of this channel. This is Ish. Let me know how y'all feel about this. Do y'all think the work and the hustle culture is something that's cool? Do y'all think that are we actually going to change things, or do you think that people just lazy as far as the Gen Z and the millennials? What do y'all actually think about this? Don't forget to like, share,